Guys, welcome to What If Civilization Start Over, episode 5. So, in the last episode, we saw the creation of Vietnam, this nation that is really a nation that wants to unite all its people. And we also saw I don't think we saw the creation of, no, not in the last episode. We saw the creation of India in the last episode and the Chinese Civil War that collapsed China, leaving it to become one of the weakest nations on earth. So, and we saw Vietnam do a little bit of genocide. Oh yeah, I didn't update this map yet. So let me do that off camera. This is the updated map. India is its own religion. This Myanmar nation is the blue religion. This nation is... So, I can see Vietnam really wanting to attack this nation. So let's start with this scenario. So what we're going to see is more exploration into India by India, as I feel like this country should be called Burma. Yeah, it's by Burma, as this nation does more exploration and explores so far that they end up finding this other lake. So that's a great find for them, as they're pushing closer and closer to Europe. As also this nation explores, as they're the biggest country on earth right now. Yes, they're the biggest. So let's look at expansion, which all these nations are gonna do, as India expands down south, and also to in this area, as they decide to make a real border with this nation. They do have a border, which is this area, but this is much more better in the northern area. They border each other in the north, as China ends up claiming this whole area right here. I think I'm gonna call this country, this is more in the Tibet area, so I'm gonna call it Tibet, as this nation also expands a little bit. That is very small expansion, as they are focused on encircling the whole lake. As we are going to see a new nation. Is this the same color? Nope. This is... Okay. So this is the same color as this. No, it's not the same color. Okay. So we're going to see a new nation form up on this lake, as the story of this nation is the explorers from here that didn't want to be part of that nation ends up joining up with this nation, as their capital will be on this river right here. So we're gonna see another war. So Korea wants the Korean area of their land. So Korea, what they're gonna do is declare war on North Korea, as Korea has been building up its troops. So they'll start moving into North Korea and fully capture North Korea. As let's look at this peace treaty. The peace treaty. Korea would do something different, as they're gonna take all of South Korea, but they will also give a nation a part of their old nation independence, as the northern part of their nation will gain independence, as I really don't like how Korea will look bad like this and then go up here. So this area will gain independence and will be a very big nation at that. As this is technically no, it's not technically the start of Russia. But let's give this nation a capital, as they don't have a coastal city or anything, so their capital will be here. As the blue nation is really collapsing, as this nation is very unstable. It used to be one of the most stable nations, as now they're unstable as they stretch from island of Sakhalin all the way to this area. As mostly it's this area that wants independence, they want to join up with this nation right here. So let's look at that rebellion. As I'm going to color that area the color of this country's true color, because it's a rebellion, but it's not an invasion. As pockets of as they start moving more eastern, as the blue team has never felt a rebellion in their life, as this nation takes this chance to take over Hokkaido. So they will start invading, as they will just stay up here in Hokkaido. There's another area of the blue team where, so as we see, Sakhalin will declare independence from the Blue Empire. As now we see the official downfall, like the Red Empire's downfall, as the Blue Empire is now crumbling in its tracks. As now we're gonna look at the Blue Empire's surrender, and let's look at this peace treaty. The official peace treaty. This nation grows to the eastern part. As the Orange Nation gains independence, the Blue Nation still exists, but they're much weaker, but they're still very strong in the economy. As this nation now owns this area and this area, as this nation now owns this whole northern part of this area. So, as we're gonna see more expansion to the east by this nation, which is very expansionist, as they're gonna expand so far that they come up with this lake and come up with the Caspian Sea. As now they start expanding more into the Middle East, as India fully, not Sri Lanka, as they expand full in the Indian sub-peninsula. As now we're seeing this whole area. I know the Himalayan mountains are here. In my last Bisco, I actually ignored these mountains and just did this. So this time I'm going to actually see as this nation expands around and India expands like this as they leave the Himalayas. As more expansion starts happening, as now this nation doesn't fully, but discovers this island, as this nation starts expanding Borneo. So, yeah. So, let's look at the last chances, I don't know why I'm saying P, of expansion and new nations. So, first we see this nation, which is one of the most expansionist. So, this nation will expand more in this area, as they still don't border with the nation. As this nation does expand very smallly, but that's because they're already big and most of their population, sorry for that, and most of their population is in this area right here, and this area, and the population is very small, one of the smallest population. The country with the smallest population is this nation, because not a lot of nations are moving. This nation has the smallest population. So let's look at the last cases of expansion and new nations. As this nation expands on the Indian subcontinent, but it's not gonna be the only, as they only expand this area for a reason. It's not for population, because they have enough population to expand. As they find a new nation in the Indian area. As it's technically Pasindia of this world, but not as strong as them. So a new nation will also form as Iraq forms in this area. As this is the new nation. As these are the new nations of the world. As Persia has its capital is here, Caucasia's capital is here, India's capital is here. As now these nations are greatly expanded, as they still don't have the technology to expand in the Himalayas. So this will be the end of this video. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.